I don't know. Man listened to woman, so technically, I
I don't
don't know.
listen to women. That's silly.
Hey guys, we got a long episode for you today. We have some people on, some good guests. We talk about everyone talks about their games at the Iron Realms that was happened a couple weekends ago. Hope you all enjoy. Like us on Facebook. We have a Patreon. We're giving away stuff if you subscribe to Patreon. So look us up there. Enjoy, everybody.
Bam here from the Flying Monkeys Wargaming Podcast. I want you to head over to www.flyingmonkeycon.com. We are Kansas and Wichita's biggest wargaming event. We have Warhammer 40K, Warhammer Age of Sigmar, Infinity, Star Wars X-Wing. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on. We have even added a Warhammer 40K friendly this year for players that are inclined to go that way. We have a room block available. With your room block, you get free booze and free food. Can't beat that. Not a lot of cons offer such a thing. So get your tickets soon. Head on over to www.flyingmonkeycon.com. It happens June 21st to the 23rd, 2019, right here in Wichita, Kansas. Hopefully Dunkalicious, Matt, and myself will see you there. Tickets are selling fast, so if you want the higher tiered swag bags, get on it. And don't forget, we have a Horus Heresy narrative event. Great feedback from it last year. We're looking forward to having it this year. Dave runs a great event. See you guys soon. www.flyingmonkeycon.com.
All right, guys. I got two guys for today. We got the winner of the Iron Realms GT, John Knapik here.
Hello.
And then we have the top Oklahoma player, Drew Alexander.
What's up?
He scored third in our tournament. I kind of just want to talk to you guys about your games, how they went. John, we'll start with you round one, and then we'll go to Drew round one.
Okay, cool. Should I talk about my list and what I brought?
Yeah. Just talk about your list first, for sure.
Okay, I brought Gristlegore, Flesh Eater Quartz.
Broken.
And it's 2 Terrorgeists, 2 Archregents, and Ghoul Patrol, and that's basically the list. Because I wanted to start with some command points, with 3 at the beginning.
Right.
So, match 1, I played against Mitch Ernst. Is that his last name?
Yeah.
From Sparkle Motion in Edmond. And he was a really nice dude. He unfortunately had a really good matchup for me, which is like tough Stormcast dudes.
Mm-hmm.
Which don't match up extremely well against Terrorgeist. Like, he had 4 Concussors, for instance, which Concussors are badass, but when the Terrorgeist gets to attack twice before they get to do their hammer attacks,
Yeah, right.
it's kind of a mismatch. Mitch was a good player, and I think he set up smart, but I got a good charge first turn with the Terrorgeist, got into the Concussors, and took out 3 of them with my first attack. And the game basically converged into him trying to take out the Terrorgeist on that one side while I was able to score objectives. He did kill the Terrorgeist, though, with 20 Sequitors.
That's pretty good.
Was
But you had
awesome.
2 of them, though.
It did. So by the time that he did that, I had already scored too many points and was kind of cleaning up with the other Terrorgeists and 20 Ghouls. 20 Ghouls are fantastic when they have the right buffs. Like if they have the plus D3 attacks from the Archregent,
Mm-hmm.
and they're within range of an abhorrent, they're brutal. They get so many attacks.
Yeah, for sure.
And they were good in this game too. But I just kind of overwhelmed them. I got some good charges, some lucky charges off first. Cast the Chalice of Usharon to heal my Terrorgeists. And
How often were you able to
but-
get your chalice out in the games?
I didn't fail a cast once with it.
Oh, well, that always helps.
Actually, all game, my magic was pretty lucky. And usually when I cast the Chalice, I needed it. It was pretty clutch.
Yeah.
So I definitely got lucky throughout the week with that. And Chalice won me one game for sure that I would have lost. I guess we'll get to that later.
Right.
But by round 3 in our game, I cleaned up most of the stuff thanks to my Terror guys. So.
Nice. Drew, tell us about your first game, man.
Yeah, so I'll start with my list. So my list was Archon the Black, 2 Necromancers, and then the Prince Vodrai. Those are all my heroes. I had 2 40 blocks of skeletons, a 5-man unit of dire wolves. I rounded up my battle line, and then in other units I had a corpse cart with a unholy lodestone and a 20-man unit of Grimghast Reapers.
Nice.
I brought Realm of Fire just to throw out all the insane buff spells. My first game was against Rob, and this was Rob's first game in AOS since AOS 2 got released.
Are you talking about Woodrum or Henderson?
Rob Henderson.
Henderson, gotcha.
Yeah. And he brought Tim's Iron Jaws list. The super fast one, charge you turn 1, all the gore pigs are in your face list. I forget which battalion it is that lets you do that, but basically the first turn he just gets all the movement he could possibly ever need.
Oh, yeah.
And I'd played it before. I'd played Tim with the list, and so I knew what was coming. So I just screened with my skeletons. He ran in there. He killed like all my skeletons, but I'm deaf, so they all just
They all
kind of
just came
came
back.
back. Yeah, they all just came back. I remember
Death
one
Bros.
Yep. I remember at one point he got so frustrated because I'm pretty sure he killed both 40 blocks of skeletons and the 20 Grimghast Reapers, and I brought all of them back throughout the game.
That's crazy.
But, it's the candle that burns brightest burns. So by turn 3, I think I killed everything of his on the table. And
Right.
so it was just a pretty quick wrap up from there. But it was a great game. And
He's got to
nice
do a
to
lot
see
of
him.
work turn 1 for sure.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And it takes a lot of finesse with that army because you got to make sure you get into what you want to get into, the big heroes and stuff. And I just screened him out with skeletons a little too well.
Nice. All right. The reason I'm kind of going through game 1 at a time, Drew and Knapik played each other round 5, so we're kind of going
Dun,
one
dun,
at a time.
dun.
4. Round 4. It wasn't
Secrets.
5.
Round
4.
4, sorry. Tell us about your second game, John.
All right, game 2. I played against Tim. I think the battalion that I actually don't know what the name of the battalion is either, but it's a rough matchup for me.
Yeah.
First turn, he took first turn. I gave him first turn. No, he had 3 drops. He took first turn. He threw his Ungor Raiders forward. And am I talking about the right? Is this
Yeah.
Tim?
England.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's
Okay.
Tim. Yeah,
Tim.
he brought the Beast of Chaos list this time.
Yeah, when I walked into Edmund Unplugged and I saw his list, I was like, "You Tim?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "I don't want to play you." And here we are, round 2. His Ungor Raiders, 1 unit of them, hit my general with 15 shots, and I failed 13 rolls. So it was 13 damage. I saved a couple of 6s. So my Terrorgeist was almost dead turn 1. And luckily he didn't have other shooting in position to take it out, or it would have been a much different game. So he did a lot of damage first, and really got into position. This is Duality of Death. Got into position really smartly. He had so many models on these objectives. So
Right.
I played really aggressively for the double turn, thinking, well, I kind of need to get the double turn to take out stuff. So I buffed up 20 ghouls, got my Terrorgeist in position, and just sent everything forward. And they did quite a bit of damage. They took out a bunch, but not enough to get through to score. So had I not got the double turn, it would have been a different game. But I did. I got the double turn, and I got the double turn with like buffed up ghouls, 2 Terrorgeists, and I summoned in Crypt Flayers with my Terrorgeist.
Mm-hmm.
And the Terrorgeists tore most of the army apart. I managed to take out his 9 Zangor Enlightened and the leader in 1 turn with the stuff that was surrounding it.
Yeah, I think he had like 120 models to your like 30 models.
Yeah, I didn't start. I didn't start with a lot of models.
Yeah. So that was a I mean good pullout for you, man.
Yeah, and the chalice saved my butt this game. I cast the chalice, and my guy was down to a few wounds, and he fully healed after the first round.
That's gross.
Yeah, I know.
All right, Drew. What about your
That's
second game?
Gristlegore. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
God. In my second game, I played Skaven. I played Daniel's Skaven list in Duality of Death, and this was the matchup I really didn't want to play at all. He had two 6-man unit of Giselles that I was not looking forward to having them shooting me off the table. But yeah, the first turn, we both just kind of were positioning because I was a little scared of his Plague Monks hitting super valuable things, but it came down pretty much to the fact that he couldn't get into any of the objectives in Duality of Death. His bell was just a little too slow, and it was blocked off, and I managed to lock it down in combat with skeletons, and one of my necromancers ran over to the other side and got the point for me.
Mhm.
But it was a bloody game. I mean, at the end of it, all my skeletons were dead, all of his plague monks were dead, all of his clan rats were dead. Like, there was like 5 heroes and a 20-man unit of Grimghast Reapers still on the board at the end of the game.
Jeez.
So, but yeah, it was a pretty awesome game. Really, my skeletons saved me because I got them into combat with the bell. They also got into combat with the Giselle, so he couldn't shoot at the targets he wanted to, and that was really the key for me. But yeah, I really did not want to play that list.
I was gonna ask, did the Giselles do much damage? I was worried about those too.
Well, the thing is I obviously knew they were coming, so I made sure to watch where he put those. When he dropped those, I dropped my hero, so he could only shoot at one of my heroes with each of them, and I put Archon way out of range.
Yeah.
So they did pretty good damage, but they only did 2 turns worth of damage to any of my heroes. So, and they weren't ever able to shoot at Archon, who is like the squishiest of all squishy heroes. So
Nice.
they did all right. I think he misplayed him a little bit because he sent one through the gnaw hole to get it in a better position to shoot the prince, and he did some pretty serious damage to the prince. But the prince then, in turn, just came forward and ate all the Giselles, so they couldn't shoot at him anymore.
Nice. How are you liking the Prince Vordry over Nefrita?
Well, these are 2 pretty seriously different lists. My Neferata list was buffing up Blood Knights and sending Blood Knights to just mass murder things, and it was fun. I don't think it was super, super competitive, but I really enjoyed the list, and when the new Soulblight book comes out, I'm really hoping they give Blood Knights their just desserts, and then I can just run vampires the whole time and not have to mess with skeletons.
They need a new
But-
kit. That kit's too expensive for what
It's
it is.
so stupid.
Mhm.
So that list was a lot of like buffs and making you minuses to hit. This list is a lot of just putting every buff I have into Grimghast Reapers and then sending Grimghast Reapers forward and watching them just munch through everything.
Nice.
I totaled up how many points Grimghast Reapers killed by themselves over the 5-day tournament, and it was like almost 6,000 points worth of stuff. I was like,
That's pretty good.
yeah, that's a pretty good unit.
Yeah,
They
and
killed at
Border
least
has
one
a-
Terrorgeist.
Yeah, I think
Right.
it was. I total killed like just over 7,000 points, and I think they killed like 5-8 of that.
Nice. All right, John, tell us about your third game, man.
All right, third game was Total Conquest, and I got to play my bro from Dallas, Brandon Prescott. This mission is decent for me because Flesh Eater Courts is really good at spreading out. They don't need to be next to their buddies
Mm-hmm.
because Terrorgeist hit hard, and then 20 ghouls can hold objectives pretty good and fight back. So first turn, I just I summoned everything and took objectives, and threw the Terrorgeist forward, the general forward, because Brandon was playing Eden of the Deepkin with eels,
Mm-hmm.
and this is the only game of the day where I had more models than my opponent. Now a lot of mine were ghouls, and his were eels. It's a big difference, but I managed to his defensive eels. I think they're called the Shalian Guard.
Ishling.
held up the Terrorgeist until they killed him, but the Terrorgeist also took out a unit of Morsar Guard and most of those defensive heals also. So,
Nice.
and when he has 3 big units of heals, that kind of put me up to take objectives, because there's 4 objectives.
Right.
And at this point, he doesn't have 4 units. So he had some stuff in combat, and I would just retreat out of combat and take objectives. And my second Terrorgeist came through and was cleaning up the stuff that survived, my non-general.
Right.
So it was just a matter of being able to go first, spread out, and him having to concentrate to kill the Terrorgeist so the Terrorgeist don't kill him.
Right. Have you played against his army before?
No.
Oh,
Actually, Brandon and I don't know each other too well. We met at Heat 1 of the Warhammer Citadel match play series. And we knew there were extra tickets to Iron Realms, and I was trying to get more people to go because we had room in the car. And he was down. So we really got to know each other. This guy, he's a great opponent, really cool guy.
Yeah.
Has a cool army, knows what he's doing. He's a smart player. It was just a bad matchup and a bad mission for him.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think, was that one on the stream? I forget which one was on the stream. That you had 2 streams.
I played Tim on the stream.
On the stream, gotcha.
And it's a good thing that the stream didn't pick up my face, because after his first turn, I probably looked pretty morose. I probably went pale. My legs, as pale as they were, probably got even paler.
That's what won you the first games, man, the distraction of the legs.
The shorts, that's why I brought them.
Yeah.
I don't think, we haven't said, I wore short shorts. I wore Daisy Dukes
Right.
to the tournament, because I wanted to show them how Texas plays Age of Sigmar.
Real flamboyantly.
God.
If you want to check out those shorts, go to the Iron Realms Facebook page, and he's right on one of the front of the picture we posted.
And the boots were the cherry on top, though.
I told you you need to get a bolo tie. That's what you needed.
I know,
To
next
really
time.
top it all off. Next time. All right, Drew, tell us about your third game, man.
So my third game, I played Joe. He brought the new Blades of Corn, which I also was not super excited to play against because those skulls are terrifying.
Right.
To a
This was-
magic base.
Yeah, that was Joe's first GT.
Yeah, it was. And he's a great player. I mean, it was a heck of a game. Blood War, a 30-man unit of Blood Warriors takes 3 sentries to kill, no matter what you throw into it, especially when he keeps command pointing it so they don't run away, ever. The Skull, he had the Wrathmongers and the Skull Takers, or Skull something. Everything in Korn's army is called Skull something, I feel like. But Skull Reapers, there it is. And he had those guys together, and they buffed each other pretty darn well, and they were pretty scary. Not scary enough to deal with the Prince, but pretty scary. But yeah, it just came down to, I was a little bit faster overall with my army than he was, and I kind of sealed him off one side of the board and just pressed the other one. So I got a couple more objectives than he did, and by the time he finally was able to press through on the other side, I just kind of run away with it at that point. But it was a really good game. It was cool to see Korn doing well. He had won both his games up to this point, and I think if he would have used those skulls a little bit more effectively, it could have been a pretty different game. But it was, like I said, a really good game. And Blood Warriors, the 30-man block, good God, I think I spent 4 turns trying to kill those fools.
Yeah, those skulls are pretty scary for like a magic army.
Yeah, I cast 5 spells a turn.
Yeah.
It's not very unlikely that I'm going to roll an 8 and blow myself up.
Forget your spells and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was on commentary for a part of that game. I just wanted to see what was going on, and I was really impressed with what he did with his list. Like, he seemed like a really smart player.
Oh yeah.
And I love seeing Blood Warriors. I love those models so much, and it was cool to see them actually be effective, because I think that's what I'm going to run next. So.
Nice.
It's Korn.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, the thing that
Yeah,
I
I'm
like
wishy-washy.
with the when he
Same
put
way.
the Skull Reapers and the Wrathmongers together, they buffed each other pretty well. And I mean, against a lot of units, they would have probably just wiped the floor with them. But buffed up Reapers plus the Prince kills just about everything.
Yep. All right, guys. Game 4. You guys want
Okay, so
to start and talk about it together.
It was fun that we got to know that we were going to play each other before by the end of the night.
Yeah, we knew we were going to play at the end of the night.
I was kind of teasing him, and we were talking about we were going to stay up all night thinking about it. Even at the pizza place afterwards, we were getting after each other a little bit.
Oh yeah, I totally did stay up all night thinking about it too. So.
I was up until 2 a.m. Because here's this mission. When I saw the pack, I was like, this mission, I automatically win this mission. I summoned 4 things. I'm super fast. But your list, unfortunately, just comes back to life if I kill it. And you have 80 skeletons. And so it's not like I can just waltz up with Terrorgeist. So, like, what if I kill 20 skeletons? It doesn't mean a thing.
Right.
So I was trying to be cool Texas guy in my boots and little shorts. But, dude, I was stressing it. I was up with Daniel talking about, like, what can I do here?
Yeah, for people who don't know, the last 2 missions were kind of random missions I picked from like all the books. This was called it's called Heralds of Woe, which is like the last turn is when you score this game, or like at the end of the game, and you score points by being in your enemy's territory. So that kind of puts a weird
skeletons
thing to the end.
Inches, they move 4 inches. And you picked a game where it was move across the board up in my face. But no, it was a fantastic. Yeah, like we were joking back and forth, and I was pretty excited because the list that I was very afraid of coming into it, I was like, oh god, here's a Gristle Gore list with 2 Terrorgeists. How am I supposed to deal with 18 mortal wounds coming at my face every turn?
So the game was one of the best games of Age of Sigmar I've ever played. It was down to the wire. He set up very defensively, which was good. To protect Archon.
And to prevent you from summoning off the table edge.
And to prevent me from summoning, of course, yeah. So I gave you first turn, right? And you just kind of you moved Grimghast Reapers forward. Is that right?
Yep. I buffed up the Grimghast Reapers a little bit, moved them forward. I moved them forward kind of like in the center of the board. I was trying to make you split. I was trying to make your Terrorgeists go one way, or maybe you send both of them one way. I was just trying to force you a decision on moving to one side or the other. And then besides that, I really didn't do much. I kind of stayed put. So
I was going to leave my general back a ways to wait to see if Vordry or Archon came out so I could go and kill them. Because I already had one. This was my idea, to play super aggressively for the double turn. And if I don't get it, Flesh-Eater Quartz is uniquely forgiving. Because I have Chalice and I hit hard. And I can attack twice.
Yeah, always pile in first and attack twice. I mean,
yeah.
Jesus.
So my idea was I was just going to move some ghouls into his side of the board. I was going to summon them in and apply pressure immediately. And then move the Terrorgeist up behind it. So I'm okay at Age of Sigmar, but this is I was like, I know what Legion of Nagash does. I've played it plenty of times. So I didn't get the double turn. I moved my Terrorgeist up, leaving him open, thinking that, okay, so either the Grimghast Reapers come and attack the Terrorgeist, and it may live or may not, but then I can come up and kill him and block off summoning back his Grimghast Reapers. Thinking that he did it in the hero phase. I was going to jump on graveyards.
Right.
The look on John's face when I told him I'd do that at the end of the movement phase was priceless. Priceless.
Yeah, right.
He's like, I do the end of the movement phase. I was like, oh! Okay. Well. Yeah, so that my first turn was basically just moving up. And then he got the double turn. He got the next turn.
Yeah, I did not get double turned. And so I just buffed up the Grimghast Reapers and sent them in to murder. Because you brought, I don't think you mentioned it, but you brought Ghoul Patrol. So all of his ghouls.
Yes.
When he set up against me, he set 4 models on the board. There were the 2 Archregents and the 2 Terrorgeists. 4 models, that's it.
Nice.
And I was like, okay, this is going to be interesting. So yeah, he brings his 20-man over on the left, next to one of his Terrorgeists. And on the right, he brings like 2 10-mans and what was the hero guy called?
In the courtier who could resurrect them if they live.
Right. So I was like, all right, I have to deal with these. because I have to deal with them. I can't let you just roaming around. So the Reapers went after the left group with the Terrorgeist and the 20 of them, and then I sent the Prince over to the right to deal with the two 10-man groups and the hero, whatever the Crypt Ghast, whatever his name is. The Reapers I buffed with Dance Macabre, Inferno Blades, and Stoke Rage. So the 20-man, I don't think the 20-man unit of ghouls even could blink, and they just kind of died.
It was nasty. Yeah, Grimghast Reapers with Inferno Blades is nasty.
Oh yeah. And then on the right-hand side, the Prince has a breath attack that's just on a 3-up. You just take a flat 6 mortal wounds when he's at full health. So I just picked out his hero and said, all right, here's 6 mortal wounds. Have a nice day.
Dang.
And so he died, but when I piled in and fought with him, I actually rolled pretty poorly. Actually, no, what had really happened is I failed to get his innate spell off, which his innate spell lets him add +1 to hit and wound, which makes his damage output just skyrocket. So I failed to get that spell off, and then I rolled rather poorly. So one of the ghoul squads lived with like 3 ghouls left or something. And that was a pain in my side for like the rest of the game. That was pretty much my turn too.
Yeah, so on my turn 2, I know I brought my general over to kill Prince Vordry and to save all my little doggies from being annihilated. I don't know why I got into calling them puppies, like the ghouls.
Oh yeah. He was talking to them like they were dogs the entire game.
I was.
Because they're so small.
It just happened.
But they performed better when he did so. So we decided it was much better for him to call them dogs.
And I don't remember what happened on the other side of the board. Did my Terrorgeist whiff against Reapers?
Well, yeah, it didn't do spectacularly, and then they piled in and fought and killed your Terrorgeist.
And killed my Terrorgeist.
Yeah, not on turn 2. In turn 2, they wounded him a lot, and then my next turn, they killed him.
Oh, okay.
But,
so yeah. Once again, I wasn't too eager to do all of my summoning because I wanted to wait as long as possible. So him killing that Terrorgeist took away one of my summoning, which was pretty big.
Yeah.
And once again, I was ready for a double turn, and I didn't get it.
Nope. Yeah, because you got Prince because he got the D3 extra attacks, and then he rolls a 3 naturally, and then he buffs this guy up to oblivion. I was like, Prince,
Here's some hunger. Yeah.
It's like, you're just gonna die, and there's really not much I can do about it.
Yeah. So I don't really. It's all kind of a blur. The next round, we did some jostling and some fighting.
Yeah, so turn 3 hits, and again, I didn't get double turned, which was the saving grace of me this entire game. I didn't get double turned once. So turn 3, I knew I had to deal with your hero guy, but I had no way of dealing with him at all. Like, at all. So, because you had the Ignax scales on him, so I couldn't even, like, Curse of Years you off the board.
Yeah.
Jerk. So basically what I did is I ran my dogs and my Reapers up one side of the board, killed your Terrorgeist, kept them moving forward, and then that was pretty much it for that turn. I kind of started repositioning skeletons around a little bit.
Was Curse of Years this round on my ghouls? Or is it the following one?
No, it was on your summoning round. No, it was this round. It was this round. Where I Curse of Years, I would have Curse of Years your ghouls off the board, but you have a 6-up save after save.
Yeah, so he got 7 of them though with Curse of Years. He got down to 1.
That. Yeah, you roll
awesome.
the ones.
It was awesome.
It was really funny. It was like really funny just to see how it worked out. Where he's rolling 1 dice at a time looking for a 6, and I'm over here just like, please no 6s, please no 6s, please no 6s.
I've used Curse of Years before, so I don't get salty when it's used on me. I think it's the most fun spell, especially if you have a death save, because at least have a chance to stop it. You know.
Right.
So I mean, it's a game-changing spell against most armies. Like, if I Curse of Years off a 30-man unit of Bloodletters, like, that's just game-changing. Or,
Yeah,
you know, perseveres off of his 4 concussors from Mitchum's army. Like it's just game changing.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's really rare to get off well. I mean, I got it off one time that entire tournament. It was against you, and you had to save after save.
Yeah, I think
Right.
it goes off on like 1 in 11 tries or something like that. Like really
Yeah.
goes off,
Yeah, that's probably about fair.
something like that.
Still pretty good.
Yeah, and I mean it's still a great spell, even if it doesn't go off. I mean, you're still typically doing somewhere in the ballpark of 2 to 3 mortal wounds. That's still as good as Arcane Bolt is. It
Yeah.
just has that potential of going much better.
Right. I'd say it's better than Arcane Bolt for sure.
So would I, but they're just like it has same equivalent damage outputs on average.
Well, all right. Well, how'd your guys' game turn out? Well, obviously we know how it turned out, but you just kind of say it at the end.
I don't remember all the specifics. I did on the 4th round summon an Infernal Courtier into his back line.
And then you summoned the crypts, the winged ones, back there towards my dogs.
Yes, that's right. And
then what else? Oh, and one more wing group, like in front of my skeleton block.
yes,
Well, you forgot about what the Courier did to his Archon, didn't the?
Oh, no,
kill
we're
the
getting
Archon?
there. We're
We're
getting
getting there.
We're
You're
getting
getting there. I hope I didn't spoil it for everybody, but it was pretty good. Go
Well,
ahead, sorry.
I guess we can fast forward a little bit. I guess I didn't
let's
get a
turn
double
it.
turn.
So
But
my turn 5, what I'm stared in the face with is I have a hero in my backyard, like he's literally on like the back right corner edge, just hiding out back there. I have the Terrorgeist General, who's also in my back, in like the farthest edge to get the most points. That I couldn't do anything about him. I had a group of what are the flying knights called?
Crypt Flayers.
Crypt Flayers and Crypt Ghouls that are in my territory just barely. And then in his territory, I had 1 unit of dog. Like it was literally 1 dire wolf with 1 wound left, still alive. It was amazing.
It was epic. There were so many great moments in the game like that.
Oh yeah, like when he did it, when I made like 1 save and the dog lived with 1 HP, and I was like, okay, that's awesome. So I retreated him from combat, and he just ran away. So yeah, in his territory, I had the 1 direwolf, I had my Grimghast Reapers, and I had 1 Necromancer. So how it's set up is I was looking to score like 2 points from the dogs, 1 from the Grimghast Reapers, and then 2 from the Necromancer because he was a hero. So a grand total of 5 points. And in my backfield, he had his Terrorgeist, which was worth 3, and then his other hero, which was worth another 3, and then his ghouls and the crypt guys, so which would have been worth another 2 points. So I danced Macabre to the skeletons. I put a bunch of buffs on them. I ran them in there to kill those things, which I think you just pulled them, but they would have for sure murdered them.
I think we talked about how many attacks it was. I was like, all right, that's
Yeah, 120 attacks twice, 4s and 3s because they had Stoke Rage. No rend, but 2 damage a pop. Yeah.
So this game made me a believer in dice rolling apps. I've been kind of opposed to them before, but you were using it. I was like, can I use it? And it's wonderful as long as we're both using the same thing, you know.
Oh yeah, so much faster. I used one all tournament long, and it cuts down time. Because
So
I'm rolling 120 dice, like 4 or 5 times a game. I mean, it just takes a minute just to do that. So I was like, all right, if you're cool with this, let's use this guy.
Yeah, you've made me a convert for sure.
Awesome.
Nice.
Well, I did something right. Yeah.
What app do you use?
It's Wargaming something. Here, I'll look it up on my phone real fast. War Dice, Warhammer Dice Roller.
Cool. I might have tried out.
Free thing in the App Store that I grabbed.
Because rolling 30 attacks with like 10 witches is always kind of hard to do.
Yeah. So anyway, I had to deal with the hero, the crypt hero. I had to deal with the 2 units, and I had to make sure all my stuff back there lives. That's how I was going to win this game. So skeletons go in, they clear out the crypt ghouls and the crypt haunters. Archon charges the 1 hero in the back, and my Grimghast Reapers tie up basically everything he has left in his backfield, which none of it flew and none of it really could have gotten there. So this was the game. Archon versus this one.
Drew made a really brilliant move. I had 2 arch regents that were going to score, but he locked them up with Grimghast Reapers and tailed them back to tie up my flares so that I couldn't kill his dog, which was going to score him 2 points.
Yep.
Real
so, yeah, I tried to be. Thank you, John. That makes me feel better about this next part that's coming up. That hurts my soul a little bit. So combat starts. Oh, I also put in a sacrificial unit to his general, just cause I wanted to see what happened. Maybe I got super lucky and he whiffed hard and my skeletons would kill him. I had no idea. So combat starts. His hero goes and just murders so many skeletons, like all the skeletons. Then my skeletons go. He just picks those guys up. And then he went with the group of. I keep blanking on their stupid names.
I went with the crypt flayers so I could pile them
flayers.
in 3 inches to get closer, and maybe take out a few Grimghast Reapers.
I think you killed one.
Sounds right.
Yeah. You actually rolled pretty poorly back there too, as I recall. Like you had a chance for mortal wounds or something, and you just missed. And then like you rolled like 2 went through, and I made one of the 4-up saves.
Yeah, they do mortals on 6s, and I just didn't roll any. But crypt players aren't fantastic. Their cool thing is they move 12 inches and fly.
Yep.
That's why they're cool.
So yeah, this was my mistake in this game right here. Is after he did that, I chose to go with the Grimghast Reapers to try to kill his generals so he couldn't pile in and fight me, because I was really afraid of him killing off just enough Reapers to where he could like scoot around and get his guys into my territory. So I was like, if I can just kill off one of them, he's not going to be able to kill enough Reapers, and I'm going to be just fine. I did not anticipate that this stupid freaking hero was going to be as scary as he was. So I went to Reapers, I killed one of his generals, and then it was his turn to pick. John, I'll let you explain from here.
All right, I picked the Crypt Infernal Courtier to attack Archon. He hits okay. He does two damage, but I would need to have some pretty good rolls for this to work, or rather have him make bad rolls.
I failed every armor save.
Every save he failed, and it came down to you rolled 5 dice and had to make 1 death save.
6 dice. I rolled 6 dice and had to make
6
1
dice
death save.
And had to make 1 death save. And he missed his saves and then missed the death saves, and I killed it by 1 point. And had I not, I would have lost the game.
Yep.
That's crazy.
So it was one of the best games I ever played. Drew outplayed me at almost every turn. Not getting the double turn hurt each time. More and more as we went along. But he
saving my bacon the entire time.
Yeah, but you played extremely well, and I was really grateful for the game. I'm looking forward to playing you again down the line for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm trying to make it work to hopefully come to visit you down in Texas, but we'll talk more about that later, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, John, talk about your game 5 against Chad.
Game 5, I just got out of a war, and I'll mention this also. I changed out of the short shorts for the match against Drew, and I kind of wish I hadn't. I think that made things closer. Maybe he had to stare at my legs the whole time. I don't know.
Yeah, I would have been distracted and maybe not made such good decisions.
I was like, wow, that was a really tough game. It's like, all right, John, now you're playing Dollars of Cain. Like, all right, cool. And this mission was unique in that there are 4 control points, 2 on each side of the board. You get a point at the end of a turn for controlling it, but you also get a point for killing big units of things or big heroes.
Right.
He had 3 things I could score, and I had 2 he could score. I had 2 Terrorgeist. He had Marathi, a big thing of Witch Elves, and
Cauldron.
The Cauldron, yes, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people online are saying that Daughters of Cain is a really good matchup against Flesh Eater Courts. And I think in certain games it does. The thing about Flesh Eater Courts that people don't talk about is, and I said it before, you can spread out so much, and Daughters can't at all. They have to stay together.
Mm-hmm.
His list was super, super good. He had Cauldron, he had Marathi, he had 30 Elves, he had a big thing of Blood Sisters, the Killy Snakes, a couple units of Heart Renders. So my idea was just to go for the double turn and summon everything on objectives and make him have to spread out to come and get me. All that worked out, except for the double turn. Once again, this whole game, I didn't get the double turn. And I played for it every time. It's just my style. I go for it every time.
Aggressive player, huh?
Just didn't have. You can kind of get away with it with Flesh Eater Courts too because of the general. Here's the thing, though. Marathi tied up my general for almost the whole game. I literally every turn, once they got into combat, ran away, and then Marathi chased me. One time, Marathi had 6 wounds on it. I rolled 3 6s on its chomps to do 18 mortals, but it only did 3 because it's Marathi. The Chalice won me this game. I summoned the Chalice every round. My Terrorgeist managed to fully heal, and when she got down to having 3 wounds left, I just didn't move the Terrorgeist because I got to fight first. So once I killed Marathi, I was kind of in control of the points game from having controlled the objectives for so long.
Right.
And 20 ghouls took out the Cauldron, which was huge because that was the general, which was also worth a secret objective, I believe, and a point.
Nice.
It's also a point to kill the general. So 20 ghouls were kind of the MVP. They ran up, took out the Cauldron, which is really helps out his whole army.
Yeah,
And
that's what I tell everyone when they're playing Daughters of Cain, like, kill the Cauldron.
Yeah.
I mean, don't worry about Marathi right at the beginning. Worry about the Cauldron.
It was Chad
Graham.
Graham.
Make that easy. Usually hiding in like a giant unit of witch elves.
Well, he was low on screens at that point. And I did the run and charge spell on the ghouls and the fearsome hunger, which gave them extra attacks.
Put Inferno Blades on him just to make it even better.
You know I put Inferno Blades on him, dude. Yeah, so in this tournament, you could take spells from the Mortal Realms, and 3 of my 4 casters had Inferno Blades. I just wanted to be able to cast it wherever I was on the board, because I do spread out quite a bit.
Right.
But Chad's army was beautiful. I don't know what it is about Daughters of Cain armies, but I've seen so many beautiful ones, and this was right up there with the best I've ever seen. It was awesome. He was also a really tight player. Like, he didn't let me get to his hags. He played his witch elves extremely smart. They killed the Terrorgeist, not my general, but the other one.
Mm-hmm.
And most of them survived the game. It was really a pleasure to play with him. I mean, it only wasn't because it was such a tense game. Partway through, a bunch of the Sons of Slambo, a team down here in San Antonio, were in the chat being like, "Hey, John, don't stress out." And before the game, Chad was like, "I think if you lose, you still win based on battle points. But it should be a fun game." But I still stressed the entire time.
Yeah.
And I think it turns out if I had lost, because he had like perfect sports and perfect paint, he would have won.
He would have won overall if you would have lost
Yeah.
that one. Because
he was
the
awesome.
overall was over. Yeah, the overall was over battle points, painted, and sports.
Yeah.
And then best general was just top ranking in BCP. So
I wouldn't have been too bummed if I got best general, because that's kind of my gimmick. But getting second place in tournaments, that's like my thing.
Right.
But anyways, Chad was a joy. His army was beautiful. It didn't have the same tension as the game against Drew, because I felt pretty in control after round 3. But it was another fun game. Only my second time playing Daughters too, so I learned quite a bit. Yeah, but it was good.
Drew, how about your last game, man?
Yeah, so my last game, I played Tim, the Beast of Chaos list that John had played earlier. And, like John said, I was beating myself up about losing such a freaking close game. I seem to always lose the super, super close games. God. But, yeah, Tim, I've played Tim before, and he's a great general. I knew that he was going to be a really, really tough opponent. And so I knew that his Ungors were going to come up and try to shoot me. So I split my 2 big heroes. So the Prince was on one side and Archon was on the other. So basically I made him choose which way he was going to go. And he went after Archon, which I think was the smarter choice. But he just rolled really, really poorly against Archon. He only did like 5 wounds to Archon, which on average he probably should have almost killed him. And because his army was so far forward after that, and also just the way the scenario was worded. Both of us had like 5 or 6 units on the board that we could get extra points from. I had 2 40 blocks of skeletons that were worth an extra point. Archon was worth an extra point. The Prince was worth an extra point. He had 2 Ungor Raiders with 30, a Vestigor, and his General. So we both had just points everywhere, and this thing turned into a bloodbath. So he doesn't kill Archon on turn 1, and he scores his 2 objectives, and then I come forward with all my skeletons and just murder his 2 units of Ungors. He brought in one of his hero guys from ambush, and I had Archon run over there and kill him, so Archon healed up, so he wasn't bracketed anymore. That was fun. Scored some points, and then we went to turn 2. I was really hoping for the double turn as well, because he had his Vestigors kind of up to where my skeletons could have reached them, and I would have really, really liked to not get charged by those guys, because they're scary on the charge. But unfortunately, I did not get the double turn. So he gets the double turn. His Vestigors come in and just murder 80 skeletons. He gets 2 points right there for murdering 80 skeletons, and then his enlightened discs fly over and start fighting with my Grimghast Reapers, which turned out to be a long fight. We only barely made it to the end of turn 3, but from the top of turn 2 to the bottom of turn 3, those 2 were fighting back and forth. And he thought it was 20 or more wounds, not over 20 wounds to score a point, and my Grimghast Reapers were 20 flat. So he actually ended up killing them and not getting the point, which actually won me this game, coming down to think of it. Which,
nice.
Yeah. But Tim's a really good player, so he murders all my skeletons. I've murdered all his Ungors, so we're both sitting at like 6 points at the end of turn 2. Turn 3, I get it, and the Prince just goes into the Vestigors and kills them all. He kills all 40 of them almost. I think there was like 6 left, and they ran to Battle Shock. He got a spell off, so his spears are hitting on 2s, wounding on 2s. The Dragon Bite's hitting on 3s, wounding on 2s. He does absolutely ludicrous amounts of damage when he does that. So I killed his Vestigors and scored 3 points. Ended up beating him 10-9.
Dang.
So it was a really, really close game. He was probably the best general I faced besides John, of course. John was,
Thanks.
yeah. I'm not going to try to boost your ego too much, but our game was absolutely fantastic. And Tim was a fantastic game, too. The reason we barely made it to turn 3 is literally at the end of turn 3, both of us had like 500 points still left on the board.
He killed
Like,
80 skeletons in one turn?
Oh, yeah. The Vestigors were like
Wow.
3 attacks apiece, hitting on 4s, wounding on 3s, -1, 2 damage a pop.
Inferno Blades?
Oh, yeah, they had Infernal Blades on them.
Yeah.
And, yeah, they got an extra attack from the charge. He put Stoke Rage on them, so I think they were hitting on 4s, wounding on 2s.
Yeesh.
3 attacks apiece. He munched through all my skeletons. It was
Man.
bad.
That's crazy.
Yep. And then, yeah, the Prince came in, and he was like, I started just rolling him. He's like, you're hitting on 2s? I was like, yep, -2, 3 damage a pop because I charged. And he just started picking up models. He's like, damn, that guy hurts. And I was like, yeah, he really does. He doesn't insta-die to a fighting first Terrorgeist.
Cool deal. Well, sound like you guys had some good games this last
Nick,
weekend.
did you get to play?
I played one game against James Valdez, a ringer list. I just brought a bunch of snakes. It was supposed to be really fun and fluffy.
Nice.
So, but he was a good player. I haven't got to. That's like the first game I've got to play since beginning of January. So it was nice to play a game.
Yeah.
No kidding.
But hopefully we get some more soon. I got Flying Monkey Con coming up. I know you guys got some events coming up. So, so what do you guys? What's your guys' plan on next? You still got to run Flesh Eater Chords or what?
I'm dropping Flesh Eater Quartz. This is my. I've gone 5-0 twice now with them in 2-day events, and I went 4-0 at another event. And I'm just like I have a ton of armies. I have almost everything. So I want to move on to something else. Like I was thinking either a Blood Warrior heavy Khorne list, or I have this janky Night Haunt list that has a bunch of Glaverath Stalkers. I just have a painting thing I want to do. And here in Texas, we have the Texas Masters, our ranking system.
Mm-hmm.
and my points are pretty high to the point where I want to play more narrative fun lists because I don't necessarily need the points, and I really just enjoy playing the game.
Right.
So one of those two, that's what I'm leaning towards now. And I'm going to put the Flesh Eaters away for a while. If I bring them back, I was thinking about doing Blister Skin or a Ghoul Heavy list, like something different.
Nice. Drew, are you still gonna play some Legion, or what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I'm building up a Skaven list as a secondary list just because I enjoy them so much.
They're a fun army.
Oh, they are. They're somewhat. I mean, they can be really competitive, but the way I'm probably going to play them, it's more likely to. I'm either going to kill myself or I'm going to annihilate you. It's a 50-50 chance. It's one of those is going to happen.
I love that. Yeah.
Which is super fun. But yeah, for competitive lists, I think Nagash is going to have to come back out for me. I really, really hate playing him because I just really think he makes the game boring for both my opponent and I. But he and Marathi are the only two answers I have for a piling in, fighting again, and fighting first Terrorgeist. And seeing as you are building Flesh Eater Courts, Nick, and we've got one more guy down here building Flesh Eater Courts, I don't see this problem going away anytime soon.
I'm kind of like John though. Like I have the Flesh Eater Courts, but I also bought 7 more boxes of Canary Heart Renders.
Are you gonna?
So that'll put me at 10 boxes, so it's like 50 models.
Oh, you're a kindred spirit, dude.
All right.
I love that. I love lists like that.
Yep.
So, and also I have a Vanguard I want to build. I mean, I have.
Whatever happened to the Slaves of Darkness that you wanted to build?
I have Archon and some Vanguard and some Slaves of Darkness stuff. I mean, also I have a ton of like Warriors and just Slanesh stuff. I have so many stuff I want to build and play, but I don't know. I'm probably gonna play Daughters a little bit more because I got those Canaries. So.
Fair enough.
Well, lastly, I want you guys to talk about your events coming up. John, I want you to tell us about War Games Con.
Yeah, so War Games Con is August 17th, 18th, and 19th. I think 18th and 19th is our GT. It's going to be the biggest GT in the area. We have 70-something people sign up so far, and I haven't even pushed it that hard online. We're shooting for 120, and I'm going to be ramping that up soon. But it's last year we had 64, and it was a blast. It's here in Austin, Texas. Yeah, if you want to have a great time, it's going to have ITC points. If you're in Texas, it has Texas Masters points, and I believe it's going to have Midwest Master points also on the line.
Yep, it sure is. Mm-hmm.
So lots of points on the line. There's going to be beer. If you come from out of state, first beer's on me.
I might hold you to that, John.
Except for Drew, everybody else gets a beer. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, so that's the big thing coming up, and we're going to have some local stuff here and there, but the only thing big that I'm running is that. In July, Houston's having a tournament called Warzone, which is another GT. And if you want to see what tournaments are coming up in Texas, if you want to make the drive, if you go to thetexasmasters.com, we have a calendar with all those dates.
Nice. Well, thanks, John. Drew, tell us about your event you guys made, Sparkle Guys.
Yeah, so Sparkle Motion, which is my team, we're pretty freaking new, actually. This is going to be our first ever hosted tournament. It'll be run by myself and Mitch Ernst, that guy that John beat with the concussors. Yeah, so it's going to be a 1,500 points taking place on May 25th at Edmond Unplugged. But we're doing some things different. We're not running it just like the Iron Realms gets ran. We're going to, first off, no realm spells for any wizards. You're going to play your battles in the realms instead. And so each time the wizards will know all the spells from those realms. And the more interesting thing, I think, is we're actually letting everybody submit a 2,000 point list. And then from that 2,000 point list, you create your 1,500 point army before each match. So basically you get a 500 point sidebar. That you can switch out between matches and between rounds and stuff. So it's going to, let you choose if you want different armies going into different scenarios or against different opponents. You can bring, 500 points is enough. It's quite a bit for a 1,500 point list. but yeah, I think that it's going to be really exciting to see what some guys come up with and put it in the sidebar so that they can use it later. Um, we're really excited about it. We came up with some secondaries that I think are going to be super hard for people to get, and hopefully get some pretty good competition going. But yeah, like I said, we're really freaking new. This is our first tournament to ever host, so we're running around like crazy, just asking questions to poor Ben. I think between Mitchum and I think we've blown up his Facebook Messenger a bunch. But
Right.
He's excited because he finally gets to play in a tournament.
Yeah, right. That'll be good. I think you guys are gonna do good. I mean, you guys started your team like this year, didn't you?
Yeah,
Or,
literally.
yeah.
Yeah, it was probably really late 2018. We probably started in like December of 2018.
Yeah, and a lot of you guys haven't been playing for like a whole year, so I mean, you guys coming up, you guys are doing good.
Yeah, I've just come to a year of playing. Probably in the next like week or so, I'll be at a year of playing.
That's good. Well, guys, I appreciate y'all coming on and talking about your games. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Um,
Hey, can I say something real quick?
yeah, man.
I just want to say that for everybody that came with me from Texas had a wonderful time. I know you guys talk a lot of trash about me personally on the podcast, but
We just
I
talk
know
a
it's
lot of
done.
trash, man.
I know it's done with love. I think Ben talks a lot of trash about me, but
He talks a lot of trash about me too, so it's not just the fact that you're from Texas.
I really appreciate being able to play with you guys. All of my games are wonderful. Your group is a lot like our group, and that you love the game, and it really showed. You guys are wonderful. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thanks for coming down. We really appreciate you coming down, and
Yeah.
I can't wait to come down there and play some of your peoples.
Right. Yeah. I mean, John, our game was incredible. I played Daniel as well, and that game was also really fun. So thank you for coming up and playing. We had a good time, and
Yeah, bro.
hopefully I'll see you here in a few months, and maybe not get to play you, but maybe just beat all of your Slambo brothers.
That's what you need to come to Texas and take one from us now.
Yeah.
Right?
Be nice. And then again, Nick, thanks for hosting the tournament. It was pretty
Yeah.
freaking fun.
It was a great
Love
tournament.
I love hosting events. They're fun. So, anyway, guys, we're going to end it there.
All right.
Yep. Thank you. I got another podcast to do with the other guys, so
Okay.
be a long day.
Dang.
But anyway, we'll look for the episode here in a couple days. So I want to put
Okay,
it all
cool.
together. It'll probably be a couple hours long, hopefully.
Nice. That was
But
fun.
anyway.
That editing.
I don't do as much editing anymore. Like the episodes are better when you don't edit them. I think.
Where
Like,
you hear Ben's
it's more
random-
natural. Yeah,
It's so time consuming too.
it is. Like you spend like almost an hour just editing a whole episode that's an hour long because you have to listen to the whole thing. So,
Ugh.
but anyway, thanks again, guys. I'm gonna
Yeah, bye,
hop
guys.
off here. Yep, bye.
See y'all.
Hey guys, welcome to Lord of the Realms. We got another two guests today. We have Buck Temple, who's not really a guest; he's here all the time. But we do have Ryan Gervaza, right? Did I say that right?
It's Gervaza, but I can
Ugh.
Gervaza. It's okay.
Yeah.
Everybody
I have the same-
pronounces it.
I have the same type name. People call me like Schufeld or Shuffeld.
I don't even try your last name, honestly.
Yeah, right. Right. Just
I'm just
like,
gonna
hey,
call
dude.
Bolt.
So, but anyway, I want to talk to you guys about your games. Just get right
Thank
into
you.
it.
Okay. Let's see. How many games did we play? We played 5 at the Iron Realms.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was fun.
Just tell us about your lists and talk about your games.
Oh shit! I gotta pull my list up again. So
Great.
I can tell you mine by heart.
yeah, let Ryan go. Let Ryan go
I've been
first.
sadly disappointed by it so many times.
Go ahead, man.
Okay, so for everybody who doesn't know, I play a pure Night Haunt list with a Vampire Lord ally, or as I like to call it, Legion of Nagash Light. It's sadly underperforms. That's the bad part. But basically, what my list is, as far as heroes go, I have a Guardian of Souls with a Nightmare Lantern who knows Shade Mist, Night of Shrouds on Ethereal Steed. He's my general. He has Ruler of the Spirit Host. Then I have Reikenor, who knows. For Iron Realms, he knew Infernal Blades as his casting spell because I wanted to make sure that I got some units high damage. Spirit Torment, Vampire Lord to round it out, allied in. Then I had the Black Coach as a Behemoth. chain rasp board was my battle line. One had 20, the other had 10, and then I had, to round out my battle line, I had Spirit Hosts, a unit of 6 of them. And then I had a unit of 20 Bladegeist Revenants and a unit of 8 Mirmorn Banshees. And that brought me up to about 1960 total for my list. And it was not how I planned it to go, but that's how it always goes, I think.
Right.
Do we just want to do it like round by round, or do you want me to tell you like all 5 of my games?
No, just go. We can go start with your first round here.
Okay, so first round I drew Tim Engelman, who was playing Beasts of Chaos, which this is the first time I ever played Beasts of Chaos, so I was actually really excited. And Tim is a very good player in the Oklahoma City area, so he usually features Iron Jaws, so the fact that he had Beasts of Chaos kind of threw me a little bit. He outnumbered me totally. He had Ungor Raiders. That's all I remember because they basically shot my entire army to death before round 2. I got picked off pretty bad. I kept my Bladegeist in the underworld. My deployment was pretty good, but I did get my first badge of shame that game for failing a 3-inch charge. That's right.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Spirit Hosts were about to get up into his range units because he drew first round. Spirit Hosts were set up to charge in, which is my mortal wound generators, and then I roll a 2 and I just stare at the dice and I'm like, so you're going to be like that. And that was pretty much the telltale of the game. He shot my unit of 10 chain rasps off the board, and then he started to go hero hunting, and unfortunately the black coach never leveled up like maybe twice, which doesn't do anything for me. I waited till the second round to get my Bladegeist Revenants in, and by the time they landed in his backfield, I was already overrun, so
Gotcha.
it did not go very well.
So do you think the shooting was the big part that kind of got you in that list? What all did you take out first round?
So what he essentially did is he showered all my heroes. He took out if I remember correctly, he took out my Guardian of Souls. He wounded Reikenor so bad it wasn't even worth it, and those were his 2 major units. I mean, he wiped out my 10 unit of chain rasps as well.
Right.
So
what was the range on his guns?
Well, because they have that, so they have the infiltration move, so where they go 6 inches, and then he was able to move them up even further. So it really didn't matter where I set up my entire stuff on deployment. It just, he got up in my face and I couldn't respond the next round because I failed all my charges, and it was very disgusting, would be the best way to put it.
I'm just trying to think here of how you could have like countered that initial barrage.
I mean, the initial barrage is hardest because the volume of shots he put out with it, because he was able to get all his units into my territory, so that increased the amount of shots he could have or increased their accuracy. It was one of those two. And I mean, when you have rasps that are a 5-up save, it's just not, they're gone. And then all my heroes are 4-up saves. So if they don't have a 6-up deathless, even with the 6-up deathless afterwards, you shoot a decent amount of shots at them. They're so, I mean, the highest wound count of my army is 12 wounds. The rest of them are 7 wounds or below. So you get a good volley on them, and it disappears.
Yeah, they're only 18 inches. I mean, let's think about that. I mean, you probably could have screened it out because you got that one jump move, don't you, where you can pick up a unit and replace it somewhere on the board?
To your general, yeah. So the Knight of Shrouds on Eternal Steed is usually my general, and I try and keep him close enough to where I plan to drop my Bladegeist Revenants to get an additional attack buff whenever they complete the charge. The problem is, and what I've found with Night Hunt in general, is like the range, considering how almost all our buff ranges are wholly within, that you have to keep them close enough to the front line that any decent shooting unit can just, I mean, pick them off. And it's it's kind of what I've been dealing with is I don't have enough of a threat on the board with my army, because my last design was to throw in the 8 Mirror and Banshees to try and be cute and try and add another unbind with negative to unbind to them, and also I can take out endless spells by them just taking D3 damage if they're in 18 inches. And the thing is they never got close enough to do that. And most of the people I came for really weren't that dependent on casting as much as I thought it'd be.
Let's see. Well, that sucks, man.
It's okay. I mean, honestly, like the entire thing right now, considering I've only been playing for a year, like this month is officially a year that I've been playing. I just wanted to creep out 1 win, and everything else was a learning experience to figure out how to take my army. I didn't take it too personal.
Gotcha. Well, tell us about your second game.
So second game was against Rob Henderson and Iron Jaws list, and this was Maw Crusher, 2 War Criers, and he had a bunch of those mounted guys. I need to open
It's Tim's list. He was running, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. And it was like, I was like, okay, so I just went against a Beast of Chaos list that's totally designed to get in my face. And now I'm facing a Iron Jaws list that is the Wog Machine. So, yeah, great. Thanks.
Yeah. That's another one of those where you just have to survive the first initial brunt of the attack. And then after that, you can pretty much wipe it up.
Yeah, and like that's honestly how it worked out. So, he drew first, or I let him go first. I can't remember which one it was. There's been lots of beer in between me actually playing Iron Realms and the actual game. But he went first. He got in my face. I survived it. His War Criers were on the cap points, and essentially my Blade Geist and my Spirit Torment were in my Underworld, because that's kind of my classic, what I like to try and do right now. And he got up in my face, and I managed to survive it. My 10 Chain Rasps absorbed the hit like they were supposed to. My 20 Chain Rasps absorbed the hit like they were supposed to. Like everything that got hit did what they were supposed to do. My Black Coach leveled up to 2, which gets it the nice little run and charge. And he was so far up that I was able to drop my Blade Geist and start taking out his buffing units. And I even took out the Maw Crusher with my Blade Geist Revenants, with Reikenor buffing them with Infernal Blades. And I was really proud of that. He also whiffed on his Maw Crusher. Like, I survived and saved so many of his high damage stuff that he threw at me that it was kind of like, okay, my turn. Here's 20 Blade Geist Revenants at you, totally like buffed up 2 times with attack characteristics and Infernal Blades. And he just disappeared off the board.
Nice.
And I was like, yes, moral victory, if nothing else. But I essentially swooped in behind him, cleared everything out, and his main units couldn't circle around and beat me enough, so managed to scrape out a victory on that one. And then I was like, yes, 1 win, I'm good.
Well, good job, man. Eric's here, by the way. He just popped in.
I popped in.
Got your sandwich?
Yeah, sure did.
All right, Ryan, tell us about your third game, man.
So, third game was against David Lewis, Blades of Corn.
Texas guy.
Yeah, Texas guy. In his list, like, honestly, I looked at it, and I've never played Corn ever before this. So, he had a bunch of the new units. He had Chaos Warriors. Chaos Warrior is a big old Bloodthirster, the Mortal Wound one, which ended up being my undoing. A blob of Bloodletters, a bunch of Reavers, Slaughter Priest, and the Endless Prayers. He had the Skulls, and the other one he had was the Sigil. So what essentially happened was, and this was, I wish I could remember, it's the Weird Deployment one. What's the mission with the Weird Deployment?
I forget what
I
it
forgot.
was.
Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, it's It's the one with the crappy measurement zone. I wish I could remember.
Oh yeah, I know what you're
Is
talking
it the
about.
one with the three like almost like steps?
Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah.
that's the one.
That's a garbage mission.
Oh, it takes 15 minutes just to measure that freaking mission out. So we essentially, what he did is he charged his Chaos Warriors at one point, and I charged my Chain Rasp with Spirit Hosts at that one, kind of. But once I realized how good the Chaos Warriors were, it eventually turned into my Chain Rasp are just gonna die, back off my Spirit Hosts, and hold my home point that's in my deployment zone. And I pushed up at the other one with my Blade Geist, Black Coach, Reikenor, and everything else to try and get it. He managed to get there with Reavers and push me off, but I eventually overcame that, and I started pushing towards him because I fell behind in points, which was just 1 point. So no matter what, if I sat on what I was going to sit on, I was going to lose. And that sigil was stalking me along with those skulls the entire time, like slowly creeping across the map towards me. And I'm just like, get away. And he finally goes, are you going to engage me or what? And I was like, all right, fine. So I charged the Black Coach, Chain Rasps, and the Knight of Shrouds, all the units I need to buff, the Spirit Torment. I charge right at him. I engage his Bloodletters while his Bloodthirster is still creeping towards me. And I managed to kill half his Bloodletters, if I remember correctly. And then the Bloodthirster sat down right in the middle of all my units, attacked the Knight of Shrouds, and the Mortal Wound Bomb went off. And he wiped out 5 of my units, like, instantly right there.
Dang.
He took out 3 heroes and every Blade Geist Revenant that I had. And with the way my list is built, especially in that, if I lose the Blade Geist, I just instantly lose steam. So I was looking at the board and I was like, I have Reikenor and 6 Spirit Hosts, and about 15 Chain Rasps left. So good game. I shook his hand.
I think it's a lot of lists are right now real dependent on the heroes, like especially his list that you played. It's if he loses any of those heroes, a lot of his other smaller units kind of fall down.
Yeah, and I mean that's kind of what with my list. The thing I've learned and I'm trying to tweak towards is that I just need to stop being cute with it. Like I tried to be cute with the Miramore and Banshees, and I tried to be. I'm trying to use the Black Coach for something it's not designed to do and something that my playstyle doesn't fit. So I'm currently tweaking my list more towards the Blade Geist Revenants because that fits my playstyle a lot better.
Because they're
Another-
fucking just good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Another
they
little
are.
combo you could probably do is probably try to fit in a chromatic cogs, especially the way you're using the blade guys.
See, the problem I find with the chromatic cogs, and I think this goes back, it kind of scares me because it goes back to the first time I played your Daughters of Cain list. When I could cast it, is there were so many times where it backfired on me and people got into me.
Yeah.
That it kind of has turned me away from it, but I should probably try it again. I think you're right. But
When you can always shut it off once it's out and use it to cast an extra spell.
yeah,
So, I mean, there's always an option there where this next turn it's going to hurt me. I better turn it off and just cast an extra spell.
yeah, and that would be good with a character like Reikenor, who has the ability to buff his casting by inflicting mortal wounds on the enemy or himself, and he's got killer spells no matter how you turn it out.
Yeah, right. So, well, cool deal, man. So how'd that game turn out? Loss?
Yeah, that was a loss.
Oh.
I kind of it was honestly though, like I said, walking away from day one, I got the one win I wanted, and I did it with a list that I built by myself, so I took kind of really good pride in that.
Cool deal, man. All right. Tell us about your last 2 games.
Okay, last game was against Jeff Cordell, Papa Sparkle himself. And it was the weird one which had the
Who?
zones. Jeff Cordell.
I'm fucking with you. I'm fucking
Oh,
with
okay.
you. I'm friends with Jeff.
Big Papa Sparkle, man, he's awesome. It was the weird one with the zones you had to charge into.
Yeah.
So I deployed horribly. Like I lost that game on deployment. I'm not gonna lie. I had everything to my side of the table, and then I had my Chain Rasp and Reikenor on the opposite side. And he runs Slanesh, and he runs Demonettes. He had 2 groups of Ungor Spearmen, a Bray Shaman, or Bray Herd Shaman, and the big old Forge World Daemonette with the cute cute butt, I guess you'd call it. I'm trying to think. So he just takes that model and he storms across that side and kills my 10 Chain Rasps and kills Reikenor. And he has the mounted units of Slanesh. I can't think of their names. I'm horrible on unit names right now.
The Seekers,
Hellstriders
probably.
or Seekers?
Yeah.
Which ones?
Seekers.
The Immortals? Oh, okay.
It was the Seekers. He charged Seekers straight into me and on that same side, and he just bulldozed into my lines and into my enemy zone. So my Blade Guy Spalm had to go in the backfield, and essentially it turned into, can I kill enough of his stuff to reduce the amount of points and be close enough to his zone that I can try and charge into it. So the Black Coach, the Blade Geist Revenants, the Spirit Hosts, pretty much all went into a group of 30 Daemonettes and the Slaneshi Forge World Demon. And I took out the 30 Daemonettes, I took out a unit Hellstriders, I took out a unit of... I took out the Forge World one, and the Blade Geist Revenants were still standing at a strength of, I think, 12 was the final one. The Spirit Hosts were down to 2, and the Black Coach had taken like 3 wounds by that time because it managed to heal up a little bit. It was down to 3 wounds. And then it was 4th turn, and it turned into, he had some Hellstriders in my complete backfield. His Ungor archers that he was using were up, and his Bray Herd Shaman was in another far corner. So it turned into Black Coach, kill his Bray Herd, leave his Hellstriders in my backfield, and then charge as much stuff up the front field to try and get points, and maybe I'll win on points. And my Blade Geist Revenants made it across the line with my Spirit Torment. My Knight of Shrouds on Ethereal Steed fell short by like I think 3 inches, and he managed to win. He won on points, so it ended up being a major loss. But it was close. Like he was even impressed. Like I think I failed 7 spells in a row. The first.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Yep. So another badge of shame. No Shade Mist, no Mystic Shield, no Infernal Blades.
Okay.
Then I managed to fail Mystic Shield and Shade Mist again. So, and then I managed to fail. I'm trying to remember what the last 2 were, but I remember Nick walked by and he's like, "So?" And I was like, "Well, I didn't miss 4 in one turn, but I missed 7 in a row." And I remember you looked at me and you're like, "Yeah, okay, you earned it."
All right.
Amazing.
I was like, "Hell yes,
Yeah.
I'll take it. I don't care. Whatever."
Man, I
Yeah.
wish I was there. God damn it.
In your face.
And then my last one was against my hated enemy, and this goes against a guy I play at Edmund Unplugged all the time. The freaking Idneb Deepkin Eels. The guy was from Colorado. It was Mike, and not even gonna try.
Mike,
to pronounce his last name.
Trilio. I played him before. He's a pretty fun guy.
He was a really good dude. Unfortunately, he was playing Deepkin, which means I instantly don't like him because I hate elves irrationally.
Yeah, I played him at Fly Monkey last year. It was a pretty good game. Elves on elves.
Elves on elves is disgusting. I learned to fear the ranged attack of, what is the name of the unit? I can't make out his list because it's all blurry. So I've never faced that before. I've never faced it.
A bunch of Reavers.
Well, the Reavers, and then he had the archers behind it.
I think, the Reavers, other archers. Thralls are the melee guys, I believe.
Okay, so
I
then
might have it backwards.
he had Thralls screening the Reavers. Either way, he had it set up to where the 2 small units were on his points, and he had, the usual eels in the under the sea with the Soul Slayer or whatever. Well, he had the Soul Slayer, and then he had the. Anyways, I tried to charge up. So the key I found with Deepkin is don't let them come off the board. screen up one end what you can and keep him from dropping them in your backfield and try and create a nice little bubble. So I did that pretty well with my 20 unit chain rest, my 10 unit chain rest, and my spirit hosts, screening all my heroes making their way up a side of the board, and I dropped my Bladegeist Revenants and Spirit Torment in front of those at the end of my movement phase. And I was set up 9 inches away from my Bladegeist was up 9 inches away from his Thralls and his Reavers, one small unit of them. And I'm like, all right, here we go. We're going to roll the charge and we're going to win or lose it on this. Rolled the charge, and of course the Bladegeist Revenants rolled a 7 or 8, if I remember right. And I needed
Perfect.
9 inches. 9 inches to get into him. It sucks so bad. And so then his Reavers proceeded to do their rapid fire, and I watched my 20 unit of Bladegeist Revenants just disappear to, I think it was 7. And then they built themselves back up through healing. And then I pulled them back running, charged the Black Coach in there. Black Coach did not do anything. His eels were on the board by that time, and he just ate my lunch from there. It was one unit after another disappearing that I would throw in front of them. And Spirit Hosts, though, I'm going to be honest, Spirit Hosts for Night Haunt are, next to the Bladegeist Revenants, have been like the standouts. Those things live forever, and in a unit of 6 of them, they can dish out Meme Pain, and they can just live forever. I absolutely love them.
Yeah, they have a pretty good mortal output.
They are. It's really surprising. The one thing I found out, though, is you can't get a good surface area, because I ran a unit of 9 of them as a test before Iron Realms, and you can't get a good enough surface area. Like 6 is the perfect unit size, in my opinion, because you can get them all in, you can surround them, and they live long enough to actually matter. So that one ended up being a loss because he essentially overran me,
Gotcha.
which is all good. I mean, I was ticked off, and I actually ended up buying more into Skaven after the tournament. So
is that what you're working on next, is your Skaven?
yeah, actually, what I did is I'm going to round out my Night Haunt. I bought 20 more Bladegeist Revenants because that's the unit that's been working for me.
Mhm.
So I'm dropping my Mirmor and Banshees that I had in my list, and actually probably the Black Coach. And I'm just wholesalingly going into, I'm going to have like 2 20-man unit Blades of Death charging at you. One of them's going to be re-rolling, and the other one's going to be attack. Like their attack characteristics are going to be up so much that you're hopefully will get threat overload, and I can punch through one side. And
A lot of the tournaments that like Night Haunt win have like 3 maxed out units of like Reapers or Blade Guys at minimum.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that's always a good choice, Blade Guys or Reapers.
I like the Reapers, but I don't want to be that guy that brings them. I don't know why. I just want to try and do something different, which is probably going to be my prideful downfall one day.
Well, this is the
Yeah,
podcast for you.
You don't want to do anything like bring a bunch of bricks of witches. That's,
Yeah.
That's
Bring,
what
like-
a lame person does.
Yeah, 3 max units of witches is silly. You shouldn't.
Well, if
not
I
be
was
that person.
if I was going to power game, I'd bring Flesh Eater Courts, right?
Yeah, man, I got some if you want to borrow.
No, I don't. Get that crap away from me now, please.
I have all these really fun lists, like, and I have an Archon list and witches and flesh eater courts. I got it all. You want it, I got it.
I want to actually, like, I know I'm going to get my butt kicked if I ever did, but I would actually like to play your Daughters of Cain list sometime just to experience it.
It's not that,
Yeah,
it's not that good.
I'll have to meet up sometime and play it. It's I think it's a really good counter to Night Haunt because I have volume of shots against your saves. So I mean, it'll be a little tough matchup for sure. But yeah, we should definitely play sometime.
Is that your Snake Lady list he's talking about?
No,
What?
he's talking about
No, full on witches, like all
Oh,
the
okay.
witches,
3 units of 30 witches on
Yep.
a good general list.
which I have now.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
So anyway, man, tell us about your Skaven list, man. Maybe we can help you out.
So my current Skaven list that I'm building towards, way back when I first started it wasn't Age of Sigmar at the time, it was actually when Fantasy was closing out. a guy named Buck Temple was visiting me, and we went by Game HQ, which is a local store.
He sounds like an asshole, first
Yeah,
of all.
some fucking asshole.
First.
Whenever he shows up, it's like money disappears out of my wallet. It's amazing.
I'm a terrible influence.
So, like, it was when 7th Ed was ending, and I was looking at it, and I'd always looked at. I was a 40K guy from the lore side. Absolutely loved it. Never really got into the board game. Tried to once or twice, but failed miserably because of bad experiences. But I was talking about how much I like the Rat Guy, Skaven, from it, so I ended up buying 2 boxes of Blood Isle from him. So I still have those with. It ended up
Really?
being, oh yeah, I still have them. They're on square bases too. The majority of my clan rats are still on square bases.
I got to talk to you separate from this.
I already sent. I sent you a Warlock engineer that I got from Buck.
I know.
Actually.
I have to send back this new inbox Darakar, whatever he is, the special guy.
Oh yeah, drooling over him. You will not be able to charge into me, you stupid eels. I will kill you. So like the Skaven list that I want to do is the centerpiece is going to be the Screaming Bell with a Grey Seer on it.
Great.
Two, 2 units of 40 clan rats. The Storm Fiends, I don't know how to run. I have 6 total right now, so I don't know how to run them as a unit of 6 or 2 units of 3. But the loadout for those are going to be the Rattling Gun, obviously, the Shot Gauntlets, because I think they're better in melee, and I'm leaning towards the Plague Wind launchers right now. But people keep telling me that the Warp Fire projectors are the best way to go, so I might, if I decide to split them up in 2 units of 3, I might run 1 close combat and 1 ranged. 2 Warp Lightning Cannons, the Warlock Engineer, and I think a Claw Lord is where I'm going to finish up at, is what I'm leaning towards. And as far as like command abilities and everything else, I haven't planned that out yet. So that's just kind of, what I do is I build the guts of what I want to go for, and then I kind of move forward from there. I did manage to pick up like 20 units of Storm Vermin, so I can build that into it eventually if I want to replace some clan rats for it, for some more teeth and some longer reach. And the buffs for those things are ridiculous, especially if you can keep them within the Screaming Bell radius, because you just ignore Battle Shock within 13 inches of that thing. And that's where I'm kind of leaning towards with the Warp Lightning Cannons, to point and kill anything that's out there.
You should look into the battalion for the Warp Lightning Cannons.
Is it good? Because the most I read online and YouTube, they kind of chagrined at that a little bit because they thought it was too much of a cost sink.
I don't think it's that expensive.
Okay. I will look into that. Thank you.
Well, cool
I'm
deal, man.
definitely going to run one. I'm going to try it anyway. We'll see.
I think Skaven, like, I'm excited for Skaven because they were my original interest. The problem is when they went to Sigmar, the only thing that came out was the Pestilence Star Collecting box, and I just had no, like, Nurgle's not interesting to me at all as far
Me
as
either.
so that got tabled, and until it came out, like, you look at it now and you could build so many different lists. There's no joke, and especially if you have the Screaming Bell, like, you roll right on that, you get a free Vermin Lord, like, of any kind. So I'm super excited for that.
Well, cool deal, man. All right, Buck, you're up. Tell us about your list and your games.
Okay, so my list was,
you were top monkey, weren't you?
I mean, there's 2 of us, so yeah, I was top monkey. It's better than being bottom monkey out of 2 people, I guess.
You were like, yes, Eric didn't show up.
I probably still would have beaten Eric anyways.
Ooh.
What alternate dimension is this?
C-137.
Okay, because I'll take shit that never happened for 9,000, Alec.
Yeah. So my list was pure Sylvaneth. Had a Tree Lord Ancient with the +2 to cast artifacts, Realm Walker, which was the +2 to Spirit Walk or whatever they do, and then Verdant Blessing to toss out a tree a turn if you can actually get it off. And then I took a Branch Witch with the Garopian Gauntlets, which is like a 6-inch pile-in move, which actually came in handy in my last game, which is nice. And then Regrowth. Alariel with Throne of Vines, Spirited Durthu with Gyre Strike for the +1 to hit and wound. And then for battle lines, I had 20 Dryads, 5 Tree Revenants, and another unit of 10 Dryads. I took the Gnarl Root Wargrove Battalion and a Household, and then Soul Snare Shackles. I said that wrong the entire weekend, but finally got it right.
What were you calling it?
Snow Share.
All right.
I was pulling out my inner Nick.
That's good.
Other than that, I did take your advice, Nick, on just popping out a unit right at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Usually brought in a unit of 3 hunters with great swords, which did some fucking work. I don't think I lost that unit the entire weekend. I think I got one guy. I had one game where I had one guy left with like 2 wounds left, but they did some work. Very tough to kill and took a lot of stuff out. So I mean, really, my list was kind of designed on Hero Hammer, so to speak. Just all the heroes going out and doing the dirty work. And it was really the Alariel and Durthu show, to be honest. But that unit of 20 Dryads was pretty beefy if I kept them close to the woods, the minus to hit and then the plus to save, since they were such a big unit. Actually came in really handy. As far as my games, my first game was against Scott with his Wanderers list. And I think I elected to go first in every single one of my games during that weekend, which, I mean, I was one-dropping. So I built the army to be at least give me the choice, and I usually like to be pretty aggressive and go first. That's just how I do things most of the time. So against him, I did that. I actually got some trees out, which was nice. The +2 to cast helped a lot in that game. And I got pretty aggressive with Alariel and put her pretty much right at the front, right in front of his Phoenix. I forget what kind it was.
It's a Crossfire.
Yeah, and I tried to charge, and I failed the charge, so she was just out in the open, which sucked real bad, because on his turn, he took her down to 3 wounds, and I was really concerned she was going to die his turn 1. It was really close. He just kept loading into her. That Phoenix messed her up, something special. But priority roll came. I kept priority, and I Zoidberged her away, and then brought her back to full health. But after that, it was just kind of whittling away at his stuff. Durthu went into that Phoenix and just rammed his sword right through it. And that was about it. After that, a couple of fights here and there on the board, controlling objectives. And, after that, it was pretty much over. But I had a really good game against him. He actually taught me a few things about the army, which was nice, because I'm still pretty new to it. I think going into that tournament, maybe 5 or 6 games with it, and I was doing stuff wrong still, and he pointed out to me, which I really appreciated, because then I was able to fix it in the future game.
Beat his ass.
And beat his ass, yeah. Really just for that and helping me and talking it out and everything, I did give him my favorite game vote, just because it was really helpful to me as a player, and he was really what's the word? Not calm, but he was walking me through some stuff and helped me figure things out and helped me remember things. And then I, tried to do the same for him where I could. So, you go to a tournament, you don't expect people to do that to you and help you. So that's really why I gave it to him. It was really close between him and Joe, though, I'll have to say. But I'll get into that later. Going into this tournament, though, I will say I had a couple goals for myself. The biggest one was try not to be salty. I can get pretty salty pretty quick. So I was just going to have fun. I wanted to win a couple games, and that was it. Like, I wasn't expecting to be top tables, but I wanted to, at least in my losses, have them be competitive. And they were. For the most part, so it was a lot of fun. And other than that, I was going to try to go for best sport, but just that kind of ties into don't be salty and don't be an asshole. So I feel like I accomplished that because I got a pretty good sport score, so I was happy with that. And the other one was have fun, which I did. I had a fucking blast at that tournament. After that, I played the other Ryan with his Fire Slayers.
Yeah.
That was a fun game because I'd never played Fire Slayers before, so he was really cool about telling me everything that they could do and what he was going to try to do. And so I offered him the same courtesy and said, I'm going to try to throw out as many fucking trees as possible and make it so that if you charge me at all, then, you're going to be potentially taking mortal wounds on a bunch of dudes. Or losing dudes by charging across. That was the one where there were two objectives on either side of the board. I kind of deployed most of my stuff splitting the distance between the two. And he came in strong on one side and then put in his Knight Incantator on one side and his big choppy guy, his hero with two axes that would absolutely destroy stuff. So he left that unit, those two heroes out in the open. I got some trees up, got Durthu over there, started fighting with that. I ended up taking out both of those leaders, but it was close. I mean, his choppy guy failed spectacularly because I think he was attacking twice or something. It was insane, and he maybe got one hit out of all that. And if he had hit with even half, he would have killed Durthu in one round. I got incredibly lucky by doing that. But really after that, it was, I controlled that objective. I killed his general. I killed more stuff. And, he had to hold stuff back on the other side of the table to keep that objective and keep me from, zipping around over there and taking out a hero or two. So he had one unit of 30 berserkers just sitting there. So a huge point sink just chilled out over there that I didn't even have to worry about the whole time. And so that allowed me to, focus everything on that other unit that came in and eventually win that game because of that. So one of the things I forgot a lot in the first two games was the shackles. I forgot to cast it in, I think, both of those games. Or if I did cast it, I cast it somewhere it ended up not even mattering, so I just forgot it was on the table. But yeah, let's see what else in that game.
I would do that all the time with my Daughters of Cain.
Yeah.
I would forget to bring in my canaries in. I just oh yeah, I have this whole unit I could bring in.
I was trying to be good about that kind of stuff throughout the whole weekend, and if someone said they forgot something, I'd be like, okay, no big deal. And I was always, I think, harder on myself when I realized stuff and didn't allow myself to do it too often. But yeah, shackles didn't really make a difference in very many of the games at all. So it wasn't, it was really there because I had points for it, and that was it. Let's see. Third was against Chad, and that was my first loss for the weekend. I went first, wasn't able to get any trees out, and with his Daughters of Cain, he was able to do whatever he wanted. There was no stopping it. I just didn't have enough stuff to go against it. That army with the amount of things it can do, it just took out my heroes. There was nothing I could do about it. And honestly too, I forgot a lot of stuff, mainly because at that point in the day it had one too many of those gluten-free ciders. So I started to get some shit. So I still would have lost that game because there's just, not being able to get the trees out and get to where I needed to be is a huge hindrance. And that's why I really took the +2 to cast on the Tree Lord Ancient. A lot of people are saying Acorn of Ages, and I get it. It's a once per battle thing, though, and you're guaranteed to at least get one. I felt overall the +2 to cast was better. I think I only had like one game where I really didn't get any trees out in any respectable manner, and that was against Chad. So overall, I like the +2 to cast much better. Yeah, that one was tough. First loss of the weekend, and after that, just trying to think what I could do. Make sure I don't forget my rules. Went over that the next morning, trying to remind myself. But after that, being 2-1 day one, I was pretty happy with that. So day two, I got to face off against Joe and his new Corn Hotness. He had a lot of Blood Warriors and Wrathmongers and like Slaughter Priests and forget what else. But he had the new scenery piece for Corn, and then the Hex Gorger spells, the one with blood dripping out of the eyes.
Yep.
And that was the one where you're trying to get into their deployment with your heroes and other units, and I knew he was basically going to run at me. So I went first, tried to get as many trees up as possible, which I was able to get a decent amount up. So I was pretty happy with that. But he got into my face, which I was expecting to happen. But as that was happening, he came up one side of the board, and I kind of shimmied around to the other side. That way I could get into his backfield and everything else. I think really where that game turned was I cast a natural 8 within range of those Hex Gorger things, and it just blew up my Branch Witch. And so that if she had survived, I could have wrapped her out and gone into the backfield and at least scored more points. When that happened, I just didn't have enough wound output to kill enough of his stuff to make it matter. So I ended up losing that game. That was also one of my most fun games. I mean, it was the most fun game for sure that I had at the tournament. It was a lot of fun. Going off against the new Corn Hotness when he was killing stuff, left and right. I was killing stuff pretty consistently too. And then he's like, "Oh yeah, here's a Bloodthirster." And I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
That's funny.
That was at the end of the game though, so all it did was get him more points. But it's still, I mean, just to see a Bloodthirster drop down in your backfield from that, pretty demoralizing to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a good one. After that, I was getting I wouldn't say I was getting salty, but losing 2 in a row, and then Charles won his game 4, so then I was really in a tough spot if he won his last one, and I would have been bottom monkey. Granted, it's 2 of us, so there wasn't any real punishment, but still, it's the principle of the matter. I didn't want to lose. Luckily, he drew Joe, so I told Joe he had to kick his ass, which he did, which was great. But then I drew Shay, and he had Stormcast. 2 units of 20 Sequitors, and I was talking so much shit about Sequitors right before this game.
That list is no joke. I'm going to be honest. I played it.
I was saying, you know what? I went up against a unit of 20 Sequitors, and they didn't do shit. They were fucking awful, blah, blah, blah. I'm not scared of them, whatever. And so what do I do in my game against him other than charge Alariel straight at that unit of 20 Sequitors?
She gets shit on.
I was like, I'm going to fucking mow right through you, and I'm not even going to worry about it. Guess what did not happen?
Bad news bears.
Yeah, those Sequitors butt-fucked Alariel like there was no tomorrow, and did 8 wounds in my combat. I think I killed a Sequitor, which was great. And in his combat, killed her. So that was, I think, like turn 2. I lost Alariel. I lost all my ability to heal, other than my Branch Witch had regrowth, so I was bringing back Dryads in that 20-man unit, which ended up denying killing that unit, which was great because that would have given me more points. Honestly, it was super close. That was the closest game I think I played that entire weekend. After Lariel died, I pretty much resigned myself to the fact that I was going to be bottom monkey to Charles, and that I was going to go 2 and 3. But I Zoidberged Durthu around the corner. I took my Tree Lord Ancient to his backfield, took him off an objective that had some skinks in it. And in that game, I think, casting magic with Rousing the Wildwood actually did something and dished out a few mortal wounds. The Soul Snare Shackles, there we go. I dropped him in my backfield, and he actually plopped in his ballistas like right next to him. So they were popping out mortal wounds and making half movements on everything that entire game. So they actually did some stuff there. The trees were great. I was able to block line of sight on some stuff. But yeah, it was super close. I think it ended up being like 12-11 for the primary.
Nice.
So it's super close. I really did not think I was going to pull it out. But I had a great game with him. And when Alariel died, I got a little salty. I caught myself getting a little salty and said, it's it's my own fucking fault. I was talking so much shit. And so I was like, you deserve it. And if you lose because of it, then, you reap what you sow. And I was ready to accept the consequences, but I was able to pull it out and still learned a lesson. So that was great. And I had a absolute blast. That was probably my most favorite GT tournament even that I've been to. It was really cool. I love the venue there. It's a really great guy too.
Yeah, dude, that's just Sigmar, man. Like, you've been playing so much 40K and all this saltiness in 40K. You come to a GT with AOS and it's just everyone's super chill and relaxed. They just want to play some games and have fun.
Yep. That's the biggest thing too. Is I remember like the last time really playing 40K and actually caring about it. Even when I won, it still sucked. Like, it was stressful. I didn't really have fun. And I just didn't enjoy it. And then, I go into the Iron Realms. I go 3 and 2. I lose back-to-back games, kind of get a little stressful at that point. Even then, it was way more fun than winning, a 40K event. So it's in a better spot. I like the people better.
And the game better.
Yeah, that for sure. I do like the game a lot better.
Good time. I'm glad you had a good time.
Yeah, it was great. I shouldn't say I didn't really do anything. You and Ben did a fantastic job getting that together. It was a blast, and I'm looking forward to next year already.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. Hopefully, Mike said he might expand. Hopefully he does, so we can get more than like 40 people next year.
Yeah.
So I'm really hoping that he does, and we can have a huge event, because next year we're going to be Texas Masters as well. So it'll be pretty cool.
That'll be nice.
Yeah, bring those Texas boys back so we can try and beat them.
Yeah, no more fucking booty shorts, though. What was that about?
The booty shorts were pretty cool. So what are you going to change about your list now, man? What are you working on next?
Honest to God, I'm probably not going to touch it at all until I get a few more rumors about what's coming out for them, because I guess they're going to have a box set with Gloomspite. That's the current rumor. So, I mean, really, if they weren't getting a new book for a while, I think, I mean, it's tough, because I'd have to, the list I'm running now, there's not a lot of tweaking it because of the battalions.
Mm-hmm.
If I drop the battalions, I'd probably bring a shit ton more dryads. Big units of dryads are pretty tough, especially next to the woods. -1 to hit and then a +1 to save. It's definitely no joke. They take a lot of damage.
You're getting a new hero here with the new Shadespire set. So you'll have one there. That might be because the Briar Cream was pretty good for the Night Haunt stuff. It has a really cool spell.
Yeah, she's pretty sick.
Yeah. So hopefully you get something cool there that you can use.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Revenants are pretty good, and I think against, I used them a unit of 5 because I had to take it. That was about the only thing. It's not too bad. I think it'd be interesting to run a bigger unit of them, just because they get a reroll in every single phase in every turn.
Mm-hmm.
So that's nice, but I just haven't had enough experience with them. I kind of stuck on Dryads right now, but I'm looking forward to whatever changes they bring. I think they do need a bit of an update. I feel like Alariel not having a ward save is kind of a little detrimental. She still did work.
Yeah.
But
a lot of heroes don't have ward saves.
Yeah.
Unless you're Death or Daughters of Cain.
Yeah. I just feel like there should be something for the Queen of Life,
Right.
She don't get shit.
Other than healing. She heals herself, and it's when I warped her across the board away from all Scott's stuff and brought her back to full health, he was kind of just like, well, all right.
Nice. Well, cool deal, man. Well, Eric, we haven't talked to you in a while. What have you been working on?
Oh, I've been finishing up a Blood Bowl team commission and doing another commission that I guess I can talk about it. So Wizards here in town, they've made a paint studio, and it's a collaboration between some of the local paint studios. So I'm on board with that, and we're actually painting up Matt Root's army for 40K.
Oh,
nice.
What's he playing?
It is Gene Stealer Colts.
Do you guys just do local stuff, or you contract stuff out?
No, we're contracting stuff out.
It's nice.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
How can they get a hold of you? I didn't know.
That's a good question. It's contact Bam at Wizards Asylum ICT.
Cool. Well, that's awesome. I know some people probably want some stuff painted. Maybe in Oklahoma, probably.
Yeah.
Eric's painted some. What was that you painted for me? The Shadespire set and the Ballista, and I was really happy with the painting. So, looking forward to what you guys put out for sure.
Cool deal.
Yeah, it should be pretty cool.
So, next events, we have Charles' event this weekend, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Pac-Man cometh.
Mm-hmm. So that'll be an AOS event in Wichita. Which store is it at?
It's at Hero Complex Games and Entertainment.
Nice. So check that out. And then we already talked about the other one on the other pre-episode we did in Oklahoma City. They're going to have another event at the Memorial Weekend, Saturday. So,
you guys coming up to play that one this weekend?
I don't know. I'd like to go. It depends on the old lady. It's Easter weekend, so that's hard to.
That doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well,
I've got to work early morning, so I can't because I'll be exhausted the next day.
I'm headed down to Dallas for girlfriend's birthday, grandma's birthday. So
you're all dead to me. Except for Nick, maybe.
Well, I don't remember you at Iron Realms.
Yeah, you're already dead to us. You're pre-dead to us.
Dude, I was dead to me that weekend.
That's funny. So then the next GT after that is going to be Flying Monkey Con, another big event happening. So be sure to check that one out. That's in June.
June, yes.
Yeah, I'm hoping new Sylvaneth is out before then, but I'll still be playing them either way. So looking forward to it.
I'll be there with Nighthawk for sure.
I'm gonna have a ringer list of Frost Phoenixes, I think.
You didn't want to bring 18. What was that, Nick? 18 prosecutors or whatever.
No, I brought 23 or 24 prosecutors to that thing. That was fun. Eric remembers that one.
Gosh, I do.
So, anyway, guys, let's wrap it up there. Thanks for coming on, Ryan. I really appreciate it. Talking about your games. Anything you want to say before we get out?
No, just shout out to Mike and Edmund Unplugged. If you're in the Oklahoma City area, you should really check that place out. It's an awesome game. Even if you don't do Age of Sigmar, they got lots of other stuff. Always support your friendly local gaming store, fellas.
Their Magic case is pretty stacked too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's awesome. Keyforge is another big thing there too as well. So definitely check it out.
Yeah, check them out. That's a great store.
Buck, anything to add, man?
No.
Fuck no.
Eric, man.
Other than I will say this. I have been a terrible influence on Ryan as far as buying models. Every time something new comes out, I ask him to split it with me. So
I'm not buying Gloomspite, okay? I'm not buying Gloomspite.
I have
I
time to talk you into it.
No. I'm rebasing Skaven. I have like over 100 Skaven models to rebase. Screw you, dude.
Don't worry, you got Eric. He has some Gloomspite.
I have some Gloomspite.
Oh,
you probably
still have them?
Yes, I still have them.
All right.
Are they painted? Hell no.
So probably the next episode we'll talk about some Fire Slayers Battletome. So
yeah, naked angry babies. Let's do this.
Fun. Anyway, guys, we'll talk to y'all later.
See you later, fuck boys.
See ya.
The nerds.